Hi everyone, and a very pleasant evening to you once again, and for the last time in this particular series. This is Anakala Hauli, and we say aloha to you, and once again my name is Ted Peck, and a very pleasant welcome to the last of the Hawaiian series of Tides and Trails.
Tides and Trails is presented each week at this time by Sportsman Cigarettes. Sportsman, with the tobacco that's too good to filter. Now, here's Ted Peck.
And just to get you all in the mood for the Hawaiian shows once again, we'd like to give you a little bit of background where this one was taken. This is a conservation show, basically. There's a few hijinks and a little bit of humor in it. We catch trout. There are actual trout in the Hawaiian Islands. Most of them are stocked, of course, the climate not being really too suitable for the production of trout. We do a little skeet shooting, and we show you what the Fish and Game Department of the Department of Lands and Forests in the state of Hawaii is doing to bring back excellent hunting for both birds and animals in the state of Hawaii. So the first thing we do actually is go skeet shooting to sharpen up our eye once again on the beautiful shores of Kailua Bay. Now here we go skeet shooting. This, of course, being Waikiki, again to get you in the mood, just to show you the Hawaiian Islands once again, how fortunate, how very privileged both Bill Dennett and myself and Jim Taylor were in visiting these islands. This location is directly across the island of Oahu from the city of Honolulu. Those of you who are intending to visit, same. It is quite close to a town called Kailua, and this is Kainalu Kipu, which means place of many shots. The Honolulu Skeet Club is quite a sporting establishment there where they shoot both trap and skeet in all the various gauges, 28 gauge, 410, 16, 20, and 12 gauge, of course, too. This was a friendly little shoot arranged for Jim Taylor and myself by the Skeet Club to give us an idea of the backgrounds of shooting clay pigeons in the warm temperatures, subtropical temperatures, as opposed to what we find in the northern hemisphere here in Canada. And it is quite a bit of a different feeling that at any second you can get severely dumped upon by vast quantities of rain. As you see, there is no age limit in the Honolulu Skeet Club by any means. This gentleman has won it the champion of the islands many times, and he still manages to break 25 straight, whereas I run usually about 17 to 21. But shooting right against the background of the sea, the beautiful bright blue water of the Pacific Ocean in this area, there's Jim. He's one of the champions, the current champions of the Honolulu Skeet Club. This shooting against this type of background is so entirely different than against trees or on open prairie as we have all across Western Canada. And the temperature is around 80, usually 78 to 80 degrees. And as I say, at any second the rain builds up and just comes from nowhere, it seems, and dumps on you. Then you have to run for shelter. Then you seem to dry off very quickly there too. But they shoot international skeet rules, much as all the rest of us do. And for those of the ladies perhaps watching who don't skeet shoot, it's a standard procedure. You call for your high tower house first, and the bird appears, and you shoot at it, or the clay pigeon rather, the bird, and then you call for the low tower, and you shoot 2 shots from each position, and eventually end up by shooting doubles from several of these positions, and you have a perfect score of 24, and then you could shoot your final shot from any position you desire. It's not the same as trap shooting in as much as that you change your position and the clay pigeons do not. They're always coming from the same angles and doing the same things, but you walk around a course and shoot from different positions, much as you would in a golf course. And there are just so many shots that you have to make. We had a wonderful time, and we'd like to thank the Honolulu Skeet Club for putting this little shoot on for us. This fellow here is one of the best shots in the state of Hawaii. Not this one. This one is one of the poorest. But eventually we'll learn. And skeet is a very good way to learn bird shooting. Learn lead, learn follow through, and various other types of skills that must be acquired when using a scatter gun. I think we missed that one by the expression on the face. Not that one, no. Now we offer our host, the chap who put the shoot on for us, a Sportsman cigarette, the first one he'd ever had. Sportsmen, of course, are not available as yet in the Hawaiian Islands, in the state of Hawaii, but there's a good possibility that they might be in the very near future. So many Canadians visit the Hawaiian Islands that might be a good thing. Thanking him once again and enjoying the Sportsman cigarette. Now the next little segment that you're going to see is the conservation part of the show, and I want you to pay close attention to the geese and the way I describe what this goose looks like. It's the Hawaiian national bird, and now is of course the state bird, as the Hawaiian Islands are now one of the states of the American Union. So let's go to the Fish and Game Department now on the big island of Hawaii. Here is the area at Puhaku Loa where we did the pig hunting show, the wild boars, a few weeks ago, and here's the nene goose. If you look at them really closely, you'll see that they're not unlike our lesser Canada goose. They're about the same size. You'll see that they have the cheek patch on the side of the head, much the same, but they have a continuation of this cheek patch all the way down the side of the bird. And here's a pair of them here, a little annoyed. And there are only 60 of these birds left in the islands, and they were once very, very abundant. And what the Fish and Game Department is doing in the state of Hawaii is to breed them and release them to the point where there will eventually be a limited hunting season once again on the nene goose. Now here's the other amazing thing about them. You will notice that the webbing in the toes, the claws, has retracted almost to the heel, whereas in any Canadian goose or any white goose or any of our normal geese that we find in the northern hemisphere here, the webbing goes extended right out. Now the theory is that these were some form of a Canada that got lost way out in the Pacific millions of years ago and adapted themselves in the Hawaiian chain to cling to the rocky cliffs and the much different terrain that they would find there as opposed to the terrain where they originally had migrated and been lost from, probably the Pacific coast. They're a beautiful bird, and they're being brought back by the Fish and Game Branch of the Department of Lands and Forests in the state of Hawaii. It's quite a wonderful thing to see. I'd like to give the Fish and Game people their credit for keeping the stocks of sheep up, too. Now here's a pair of rams. One of them is a mouflon ram, and the other is a crossbred ram. The mouflon sheep come from the Mediterranean, and they're stocking them on all the islands, too. And they're not unlike the Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep, and they're just as wild and just as tough an adversary to try and track down in the mountains of the island of Hawaii. Remember, we showed you Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea being over 13,000 feet in height and quite cold. So they have ideal conditions to roam in. And we thank our chap here, Albert Lee of the Hawaiian Fish and Game Branch, for showing us some of these conservation measures that are being adopted. And of course there are many other conservation measures being adopted too. They're stocked checker partridge, they're working on these axis deer. So just to show all of you who enjoy hunting and fishing here in Canada The Hawaiian people really are quite keen and interested sports people and sportsmen as well. And if you ever do go down there to visit, not just to loll in the sun in Waikiki, but if you want to take your fishing or hunting equipment with you, the out-of-state license is only $10 for hunting deer and pigs and all this sort of thing. A good thing to know that the conservation of the state of Hawaii is in full high gear. But now,
it's Tides and Trails Tall Tales Trophy Time.
and we have a tall tale here for you from Suffield, Alberta. And this is one of the, I think, if you've got a certain type of a sense of humor, I think one of the funniest ones that we've received. I'd like to thank all of you once again for sending in your tall tales. It keeps Brian Workman, our producer, and his good wife Grace, and myself busy for many, many nights just keeping up with the tall tales. I assure you we read them all. And this particular one, as I say, from Suffield, Alberta, and the television station where it was sent into a CHAT in Medicine Hat. Here is the tall tale. Dear Uncle Stumbling, while most of the prevaricators who write into you tell tall tales of their hunting and fishing prowess, I am going to deviate a bit from this pattern. My true tale is going to deal with the devotion that I give to my chosen summer sport, which is fishing. Amazing. Last summer, while on our holidays, we decided to stop at a very nice lake in northern Alberta, spend a few days just loafing and fishing. After getting settled, I grabbed my fishing equipment and started walking and casting along the shore. I was having my usual run of bad luck, and in spite of the fact, I was very staunchly continuing to try. Suddenly, just around the bend, I want you to picture this, everyone, in a sheltered bit of very nice beach, were three beautiful pulchritudinous young things of the feminine gender, sunbathing in the scantiest of bikini bathing suits. Now, as is quite common when lonely young beauties spot a handsome, virile member of the opposing sex, they whistled and made coy advances towards me. Now, here's the crux. Being an admirer of Isaac Walton, and not Dr. Kinsey, I took a cursory glance, lit up a sportsman's cigarette, and continued on the way regardless of the poor fishing that I was having. Now, this may sound incredible to you, but if there are any disbelievers amongst your viewers, I will be glad to send along a signed testimonial by an eyewitness who was with me, my wife. So, the winner's name is Mr. B.J. Wenner. And congratulations to you, Mr. Wenner. And I think your wife probably had something to do with this tall tale as well. And at CHAT in Medicine Hat, and actually the story comes from Suffield, Alberta, your carton of Sportsman cigarettes, your scroll, and your beautiful Pacific Coast spring salmon are on their way to you. Now remember, all you do to enter the Tall Tales contest is simply write in your idea of a prevarication right into the television station you're now viewing, and they will be all forwarded to CHAN-TV in Vancouver, where the program is produced. Now, again we go back to the beautiful Hawaiian Islands and really go trout fishing. Some idea here, complete with music, as you hear in the background, of the lush growth, quite common on the island of Oahu all the time. These pictures, remember, were taken in January. And Anakala Haule, which means Uncle Stumbly, or my father's brother who is clumsy, going down and meeting the host of a trout farm. Now, there are many trout farms in Western Canada, and they're all doing quite well financially. But this one, evidently, on the island of Oahu, does fabulously well. There's our host for the trip, pointing to how big the fish we hope to catch are. But it's something of a novelty to the Hawaiian people, the native population, shall I say, the real true Hawaiians, that they all flock here on Sundays and go crazy fishing for trout. So we thought we'd have a try at doing the same thing. This gentleman has got many stocked ponds, which he calls various names, Lake Titicaca, Lake Louise, and various other famous lakes in the world. And all you do is you bring your kiddies there, evidently, and you just use one of these bamboo poles, and you use the bait provided. There's Jim Taylor in the left of your screen there once again. And you haul trout out as fast as you can put line into the water. The size ranges anywhere from about 4 inches up to about 12 inches. And the trout are basically western United States stock of fall spawning rainbow. I think we could have caught something like 500 trout in 10 minutes, but we didn't really want to go through quite that elaborate of proceedings, but we want to show you the amount of trout he has available here in the pond. And again, these films were taken just on the other side of the island of Oahu, and a place called Waipahalo. And you get quite handy at pronouncing some of these names after a while down there. We're using a bait composed of ground meat and paste, liver paste and so on, that he feeds the trout anyway. And every time you throw it in, there's 10 trout trying to grab it at once. So it's quite a deal. And once again here, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a sense of humor at all, I want you to watch the screen quite closely here, and you're going to see some amazing fish attempting to be caught. There's the trout are having a little breakfast, maybe 300 or 400 of them just in that one little area. And we caught one here, I think, on the spinning tackle. Yes, and there's just so many of them that there's no contest in the fishing. In other words, you and I, who go out trout fishing with flies and so on and enjoy the sport as a challenge, wouldn't normally patronize one of these places, but if you're in the Hawaiian Islands and your kids are accompanying you, a good place to take them to pick up as many trout as you can throw lines in the water to attract them. Now, how did this get in here? That's a little bit larger. If you'll notice, every once in a while, you'll see one of the areas again, a rainbow of about 14 pounds that Sure Catch and I dispatched up near the Skeet River last fall. But we thought we'd throw a few larger ones in because, after all, the little pond didn't happen to have any of these. And while we were catching the 4 inchers, we were thinking, we were wishing that they were the other variety. As you will see, periodically interspersed among the fighting rainbow trout of Oahu. Well, that's a better one there. Steelhead about 10 or 11 pounds. There he is. Oh, pardon me. Oh, here's another one. This is the better size here. Well, we had to do something. We couldn't make a show out of showing how to catch 4 inchers, so we remind you all that in the beautiful provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan, as well as, of course, BC, you have gigantic fish right on your own doorstep, not to mention Manitoba and Western Ontario, and there's no need to resort to this sort of type of fishing. We are so fortunate in Western Canada to have the best fishing in the world that I can certainly recommend that, other than the sea fishing around the islands of Hawaii, that we stick pretty well with our own fishing here, and we stick to Waikiki and the beautiful gardens and so on down there. But we did think we'd try and show you a little bit about the fact you can go trout fishing in the Hawaiian Islands. On one of the further islands, Kauai, there's a few mountain streams that they stock every year too. But once again, the trout don't get much larger than what you see here in these ponds. There we go. Another cast, another fish. And here's a fish that we actually caught in the Bow River in November, if you'll remember, the people of Calgary, a nice 5-pound rainbow. And while landing one of the 4 inchers again, our thoughts went back to the foothills of the Rocky Mountains and the Bow River once again. Nice 5-pounder. A beautiful fat rainbow trout, which are available in the Bow most of the year. There's the average. There's the size we caught there at the trout farm, though. But it's well worth the drive over, because the beautiful area on the other side of Oahu from the city of Honolulu is full of this area. Here, there's the size again. We could have caught 500 of them at any time. Did give us a chance to fly fish here. There's one of these lakes stocked with bass. But we never found any of the bass. Typical luck. But so many rainbow trout that they were going out of style. We just got tired of casting for them. Lake Louise, indeed. Hardly looks like the scenic grandeur of the Rocky Mountains. Using a large bucktail here for the bass. Give you lots of opportunity and lots of room to cast. We certainly appreciate all the comments we've had all across Western Canada from each of the 15 TV stations that carry the show on how you enjoyed this Hawaiian series, this being the last of the series of 5. We know we're sort of smug about our own hunting and fishing in Western Canada, but it's nice to see how the other fellows do it too. Having a sportsman whilst casting. Thanking our host for providing excellent fishing. If the quantity, at least the quality wasn't there, at least the quantity of fish was. And we give him a sportsman cigarette for the very first time, and he was quite amazed to see the fly right on the back of the pack. And incidentally, I thank you once again to all of you for writing in for the Crestliner Sportsman 12-foot boat contest. All of us had a lot of fun in each of the areas where we did the contest. And there'll be another contest coming up reasonably soon for you all to participate in. There's the catch of trout that we took home, and they taste just as good in the Hawaiian Islands as they do in the Rocky Mountains. Rainbow trout are rainbow trout, no matter where they're caught. If you notice closely the size of the eyes on them, you see that they're really pretty teensy, even though Bill Dennett's doing the best job he can with his fish bunching lens to make them look bigger. There you see the host once again, who needs to shave a little bit. He's Uncle Stubbly, but he does a marvelous job over there on the keeping up the grounds and the gardens. Nice place to go. But the main purpose of this particular show was to give credit where credit is due to the Hawaiian Fish and Game Department of the Department of Lands and Forests. Now, we have one more scene we would like to show you, sort of to wrap up the Hawaiian shows, all 5 of them that we've had, the deer, the pigs, and the big ahi, the big tuna, and the mahi-mahi with Dave Nottage and so on. We'd like to show you a Hawaiian greeting. Now, this is just exactly what happens. If you think I'm kidding, we're going to show you this on film. Hawaiian greetings are these right here, and you'll see the Queen here. This is representing the Queen. This is leaving by Canadian Pacific Airlines once again, the Empress of Vancouver, the DC-8 jet. And we have the King and the Queen and the hula girls and Young Taylor and myself, complete with leis, bowing to the King and Queen, and also noticing the usual sights that one might expect in the islands here. And they actually did turn out in full force for us. We'd like to thank the Hawaiian Visitors Bureau for setting this up. And that is Mrs. Babe Willett, and Babe Willett of the CPA, who the Canadian Pacific Airlines manager, and his wife in Honolulu. And as I say, not all of you perhaps will get this type of welcome and aloha, farewell, but some of you will, and I think that you'll enjoy it in the various stages. Thanking Mr. Willett once again. I think we got, now we're getting down to the what one might expect here. And I think yes, we do. Yes, not very many inhibitions here. And once again, thanking the Canadian Pacific Airlines for providing a wonderful tour through all the islands of the state of Hawaii. There you see Empress of Vancouver. And we leave to the tune of the Hula Girls and the strumming of Hawaiian guitars and the glance of the simulated queen of the Hawaiian Islands. So once again, on behalf of the sponsor, the Rock City Tobacco, the Sportsman Cigarette people, and of course cameraman Bill, myself, we'd like to thank the CPA for putting on a wonderful deal for us in Hawaii. Now, next week we're going to have a rather serious type of show, not all fun and games. We're going to show the case for not fishing for the blueback salmon. Now, this will not apply almost anywhere except the coast of British Columbia, coastal waters. But there are so many people who fish saltwater fish in the coast of BC. Over 150,000 people a year fish on any given one Sunday sometimes in the summertime. And a lot of the people are you people, for instance, who come from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, from Alberta. You come all the way out to fish. Well, summertime is not too bad, but there's a lot of local residents who fish in the springtime for the big spring salmon that we have shown you and the kind that we give away on our tall tales. But we also fish for what we call blueback, which are the immature stage of the coho salmon. And next week we're going to show you 3 areas where these blueback are taken, and we even take a couple of my own youngsters along on one of the segments. And we catch a couple of these fish. Some of them are very easy to catch, some of them are quite difficult. But there's so many people fishing for them and taking over their limits that we want to publicize the fact that if we start killing these salmon at this stage of the game, there won't be any full-grown coho salmon in the summer and early fall for us to catch, because the same fish, this coho salmon, is 12 inches long in February and 12 pounds to 14 pounds in September. They do all their growing in their last year of life. A lot of people go out in the early spring to late spring and pick them up when there's a legal limit of 8 of these fish, and they just clean house with them, and a lot of them disrespect the fisheries department limit of 8, and they come in with 20 and 30. And every one they kill is one less full-grown salmon in the summer. Then we have our junior sportsman show coming up for you in a couple of, about 3 or 4 weeks' time now. We've done most of it already. We're going to Edmonton shortly to do a piece there with the junior firearms training course, so that we want everyone to know all across Western Canada what each province is doing to make sure that the youngsters get proper training in safe gun handling and general firearms safety in the field. So thanks for being with us tonight on the last of the Hawaiian series. Join us again next week for some very good shots on coho salmon fishing, these bluebacks, in 3 beautiful areas on the west coast. Be with you then, and of course, try to remember our creed, our conservation creed. Be a true sportsman, don't be a game or a fish hog. Smoke Sportsman cigarettes. And once again, from all of us here, and of course from Ted Peck, we always say tight lines and straight shooting.
Sportsman Cigarettes, with the tobacco that's too good to filter, has brought you Tides and Trails. Join Ted Peck next week at the same time. All travel arrangements courtesy of Canadian Pacific Airlines. Tides and Trails was produced for Sportsman Cigarettes by CHAN-TV, Vancouver.